So, hi everyone. Today we are interviewing one of the business owners of La Mexicana, Ricardo Ayar. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all, this is cool. We grew up in San Bruno. My parents opened the business when I was in third grade, so it was like 1993.
Nice.
And it's been there ever since. Just kind of always been local people. Like, we used to live in San Francisco, San Bruno. Now we live in Millbrae, so it's like we're never too far, like, from San Bruno. And just like, we've been part of the community for so long that it's just like we're pretty, familiar with a lot of people. And like, I just like to help my dad out and my mom out with the business. I went to college for a bunch of different stuff, and somehow I always end up back at the store helping them, which is like, all right, well, it's cool, to have like a nice little backup, and also it's like helping them, especially now that they're like getting older. It's just like, all right, I do stuff that they don't like know how to do with like computers or like stuff like this. So it's like, so I enjoy it.
That's
it's
nice.
A family thing.
And did your family intend on establishing here in San Bruno? Like, what was that process like?
So my dad was like looking for a location like all over the Bay. He was telling me he hadn't actually been to San Bruno before, and my mom's brother, my dad's brother-in-law at the time, told him like, hey, there's this like empty storefront in San Bruno. Like, it's been empty for a long time. You should just go check it out. And he checked it out and he liked it. And so he noticed that there was no small like produce markets like in the area on San Mateo Avenue, like downtown San Bruno. So it's like kind of all worked out where it's like, all right, this is something the area needs. So it just, it was like, okay, he settled for San Bruno, but he's like, I like it now. Like, I like San Bruno. Like, we live here and stuff. So
nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What inspired you to be a part of the business? You talked about going to college, but it's okay.
No, it's good.
We can
Don't worry
like
about
edit
it.
it around. But what kind of like was the final moment where you were like, okay, I want to be a part of this?
I actually kind of like got forced back into it because I used to work at iHeartRadio. I was a digital content producer, so that meant like filming interviews when artists came in like to the studio and stuff. But then when COVID happened, because of like all the restrictions, like our job basically was like gone, at least temporarily. So I was like, well, I need something to do. So I asked my dad, I was like, can I help you at the store? Because luckily it was an essential business where it was open. Like we were able to work. So I kind of like settled into that. And it was good though, because like everyone that I work with, like they've known me since I was like a kid. It's like really like a family like vibe. So like I'm really comfortable there, and I like helping my parents like when they need like how do I get this permit, or like how do I get this going on, how do I do that? So it's just kind of like something I kind of fell into it. Like I have two sisters, younger sisters, and they're kind of doing their own thing. They'll help like when we need specific stuff, but usually it's like on me. It's like, oh, call Ricardo. So I like it though. It's rewarding.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you said you've been here in San Bruno since third grade, correct?
Yeah, third grade.
And so that means you've been here for a while, since you were little.
Yeah.
And you've been here in San Bruno since third grade, correct? Has that also shifted a change in your business,
So when we first moved here, I feel like, I don't know, maybe just because of the type of business that my parents had, which like catered a lot to like Latinos. So it felt like there was a lot of Latinos. But now it seems like it's more diverse, like, like at least like in the areas around the store, like downtown San Bruno. So yeah, it just seems more diverse. As far as the business being impacted, it feels like we've had to like adjust to like what the needs are of like the different like demographics that are moving into the area. So it's like not just Latinos, but like we had a lot of Greek customers at one point, and then a lot of those moved out. And now there's like a lot of like Asian customers, like new Asian customers. So it's like we're trying to like figure out like, okay, well, how can we serve them? Like, what are products that they would need? Like, if it's like, oh, I forgot, I need this. Like, like just something that you forgot to get when you're at the other store or like at an Asian market. So I think that's been like the biggest impact, is just kind of like trying to find necessities for other like demographics that we weren't used to like catering to. Yeah.
Nice. And I want to ask a little bit about like when your parents first opened doors and like started basically based in San Bruno. Asked a little bit about like when your parents first opened doors, and as opposed to what their first vision was like for the business, if you know.
So I know, like, at first, my dad really was like, it's always been like providing quality produce, but it was also like getting products that like Latinos weren't really like able to get like easily, or like, you know, like you would go to like Safeway and it's like a small like rack of like Hispanic foods or whatever, you know. So he was trying to find like more like, you know, like stuff that like products that like were really like people from other Latin American countries or Central America were familiar with, and like that they couldn't really get. But yeah, like I said, now it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we, you know, we need to be working with more vendors to like, before there was like a big Mexican population, there was a lot of like Central Americans now. So like we're increasing like our Peruvian products and like Colombian products, because there's a lot of people from Colombia in the area now. So it's just like having to adapt like what we provide to the customers, like the new customers that we have. That's been mostly like what like we focus on, other than like, you know, providing quality produce.
Nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. I really like shopping at La Mexicana. It's very nice to just step in and see the wide variety of the items you guys have.
Thank you.
And also, you touched on the family dynamic, and how do you think running a family business is different from that? And also, like, I know you probably don't have, or maybe you do, experience in running a company, but how would you say that a family dynamic is different to running something by yourself?
I feel like the family dynamic, as opposed to like having other, just not like other people who aren't like in your family, or you don't consider family, working for you, you kind of feel like everyone has your back. Like everyone has each other's back. I feel like at other, like even like at other jobs I've been at, it's kind of like everyone's like looking out for themselves, which is, you know, that's just the culture of like, you know, you got to watch your back. And but yeah, I feel like having the family thing, it's like there's always someone that's like, oh, my mom has to find someone to cover the shift. Well, they can call one of the cashiers that's been working there for like 15 years, 20 years, and it's not like, oh, you know, like it won't seem like a hassle. It's like it feels like they're helping each other out, and they're helping us out by doing that.
Nice. And what are some of those experiences and like just times where they shaped you into like a better person, a better leader, or even for your family as like business owners? Like, what would you say are some of those? Like, it could be conflicts, times where like you guys just need each other. What would you say?
Well, definitely. So my dad, he started working really young in Mexico. Like he had to leave school, I think, before 3rd grade or something like that, and they put him to work. So he's always had like this work ethic, like mentality, where it's like work.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of been like a double-edged sword, where it's like, because of that, like us growing up, like our parents were really focused. Like my mom, I like to say she's like the face of the market, because like all the customers know her. She used to be a cashier, and now she's even just always just down there like greeting the customers, and they all know her. My dad's kind of like the back operator, like he's making the moves, but you know, they're a team. But us growing up, like we didn't have our parents really around, which kind of was like I said, it's like a double-edged thing. Like luckily we had like our grandma that like would watch us and stuff, but it's been kind of like, it was like worth the sacrifice that my parents made, and then that we made also, like by not having them around. But I mean, now we're all like, okay, like no one's like hurting for like a job, or like, you know, like on the verge of being homeless, or like, you know, because we have the security thing that our parents built, which at the time it just felt like unfair. You know, like, you know, because like they would work on the holidays, and like, you know, and we were just like, okay, well, we can't do this, or like our one day a week was Sunday, where like they would be working, we would go out to like a movie, go eat, and then they'd go back to work, and it's just like we'd go home. And you know, now it feels like growing up, like now I'm like, oh yeah, like I get it, like I get why they had to make that sacrifice, and I respect it. So it was kind of like, yeah, I used to hate it, but now I'm like, oh, I respect it, and I'm grateful for it, because like I said, like I'm able to have something that if my career, whatever career I hop around to, doesn't work out or just doesn't feel right, like I can always go back and help my parents out.
Yeah, that is very. I can relate to that because my father also started really working very young in Mexico. Also dropped out of school in like 3rd or 4th grade, and he's always been working. So I can relate to the aspect of like not having them around us often because my dad works like at a night shift and then sleeps all day to get ready for work. So I can also relate to that, and I feel like because my mom has also been around to help me and raise me and my sister, I feel like I have that backbone. So I can imagine like how different the lifestyle must have been without like both of your parents working at the same time.
Yeah.
But I feel like at the same time that's also raised you to be the person you are today and the helpful person that you are today.
Yeah, I think so. And also, I mean, props to you because it's different. It's a like an adjustment, you know, when like one of your parents isn't really, or like, you know, they're just grinding all the time. And it's just like you kind of like find your own way and like, you know, you adjust because that's all you can do. But I mean, you know, they're doing it for a good cause and for us, for their kids. So yeah.
Yes. What would you say surprised you most about being a business owner? I could go for you, your parents again.
My dad said that owning a business was easier when it was smaller, which makes sense because now there's just what I realize now helping my dad. He says the employees are the ones that make the store run. So if you keep them like happy, then the store is going to run smoothly. And if you give them what they need, the store is going to run smoothly. And so like helping my dad right now kind of like manage all these employees. I think we have like 15 employees or something like that. It's like there's so many moving parts. So it's like, oh, this needs to be repaired, or that guy needs his shift covered, or, you know, like this person wants extra hours. So it's just kind of like there's a lot of moving parts, and like I never thought about it like that before. I always just thought he was sitting in the office like giving out orders or like, you know, but it's like no, he's actually like he still goes out and like he goes to like the wholesale place and he'll buy stuff that we need. Like he's still very involved in it. And like I thought like, you know, when I was away it was like, oh, he doesn't even do anything. And like no, he does a lot, like still. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and like there's so much you have to do with like permits. Like the health department was actually there today to do their inspection. So it's just like these things you don't think about, like all this like legal stuff and like paperwork and stuff. And it's just like I never thought about that. So it's been really eye-opening, but it's cool to have experience like learning how to like deal with all that.
Yeah, and then I also wanted to touch on San Bruno because San Bruno, I feel, is a small enough city where most people know each other and they can connect, and which is why I want to ask you, outside of the business or the walls of La Mexicana, how do you guys connect to the community or San Bruno?
So, like I said, my mom kind of like, she's the face, right? So she, like, we'll have customers come in and she's like, oh, I've known that customer since before they were even born. And that means that their mom used to go there when she was pregnant. And like now that guy has kids. So it's like, we just know all these people. And it's weird because like when I was younger, like I would be walking around and people would be like, hey, how are you? How's your mom? And I'm like, I don't know you. But they knew me from the store. Like, you know, they knew my family. And I was like, oh, they're like, say hi to your mom. I was like, okay, I don't know your name, but I'll say hi. So it's like, yeah, it's very like, it just feels like community, like that's the vibe that my parents were going for when they were like kind of setting up the store. And then my dad recently, and even during COVID, they were working with like these programs to give out gift cards for like families that needed them, and like especially right now with the SNAP EBT thing that was happening. Like we got 2 high schools, I think a high school and another school approached us about like, you know, helping out, and like so like, you know, we'll do the gift card programs and like we'll donate like X amount of gift cards ourselves, and you know, just kind of make sure that like, you know, we're taking care of the community and like you know, like our customers and, you know, their families.
Nice. It seems like a very nice culture around your business and like within your business as well. But I was going to talk about the culture within your business, and also, do you think that gains more revenue for your business as well, like having locals, having regulars, things like that? Like, was there ever a time where you were hurting or the business was hurting and you had to figure out a way to help it and step it up maybe?
From what I know of, and if it did happen, my dad didn't really talk to me about it or talk to us about it. But yeah, like you said, like the culture is kind of like, it brings people back. Because like even the cashiers, like they all know all these people and they know them by first name, and like, you know, like customers know the cashiers by their first name.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you're not just going like big market and it's like you don't know the person.
Yeah.
It's like they'll be like, how's your mom, how's your kid, like how's the
Yeah.
dog, like you know, because we let the dogs come in, so it's like
Yeah.
my mom knows all the dogs and like their names and stuff. So yeah, I think it makes just customers feel comfortable in general. It's like you're not just gonna go like stand in line, you're gonna go see someone that you're familiar with and like you know, you've been around for a while.
Yeah.
And I also want to recycle back to the points we made about COVID. And I was wondering if, how has COVID shifted your business, or like how did it affect your business? And do you feel that the business has recovered since COVID, or like to the same point of revenue?
So I asked my dad about this because he I don't keep track of like the revenue and all that. He does. He said, of course, the first like year it was like our sales went up because no one was going out to eat. Yeah, everyone was kind of forced to like
I see.
stay home and cook, or you know. So it was like we benefited from that. And then it was crazy because like the first day that they announced like the curfew, our line like literally like at 5 p.m. when people got off work and like they made the announcement that there was going to be like a curfew, the line was like, we had 3 lines all the way like out the back door of the store.
Wow.
And so like my sister was there, my niece was there, like at the register, like everyone, we were like hustling, we were running out of stuff, like it was crazy, like because you know we didn't know what was going on. It was like a panic thing. So that was like, I'll never forget, it was like a movie, like just seeing it all. And of course one of our registers went down and we're like, oh. So I had to go direct people like, okay, you go to that register. Like there was like one line and I was like, okay, now you go to that one. So it was like and then after that, like a big thing was like, there was always new protocols that they were putting out and like rules and restrictions, like the social distancing and, you know, like this and that. And it was just like, luckily, like we had my sister to be like, she's like a lawyer. So she would read the stuff and I'm like, what does this mean? And she's like, well, it means you can't do this, we can't do that. Or the employees have to do this, we have to do that. So yeah, it really kept us on our toes, like, meeting like the requirements that they were having, like you have to have cart wipes every you know. So it's just like, and it felt like it was changing like every day, like you have to have stickers on the floor for social distancing. So it was a challenge adapting to that. Luckily, like I said, we benefited from people need to eat, and I mean that's when I was like so glad that my dad opened up a market and not like a store at the mall or something, you know. And then after that, he said that sales kind of went back to how they, like when people started going back into their original habits and routines of like being able to go out and go eat and stuff.
Oh,
it's just
okay,
like,
yeah. I was gonna ask that, like during COVID or like a little bit after COVID, did things just like flatline or did it just go back to normal? But it seems like it did.
But I also wanted to ask, did your parents own any previous business before La Mexicana?
No, this is the first. My dad was like the first one actually, like in his family, like immediate family, like cousins and stuff. He was the first one to open a business, and then after that, I think like 4 of his cousins now own various businesses.
Wow.
That's cool.
So he kind of like got the ball rolling. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, my dad was like the first one like in the family to, like, as far as I know, like immediate family to start like a business like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I wanted to ask, what's like the most popular item you guys sell? Because I know for my family, it's definitely got to be the tortillas.
Okay.
So because we restock on those like every week.
Yeah, my mom's always, I'm like, Mom, do you need something from the store? She's like, bring me a pack of tortillas. And I'm like, I just brought some. She's like, just bring me. So, okay. But I actually asked one, like, we have a cashier. She's been with us since like 1996. So she's been there a long time. So I'm like, hey, what's the most popular like items? And she said it was the tamales that we sell. Like, you know, warmed up tamales. And then the queso frescos, like the ones that you have to get up at the register.
Yeah.
You'll be like, hey, can I get a pound of this or half a pound of queso
My
fresco?
grandma gets it all the time, yeah.
Yeah, so those, and the tortillas. But yeah, those have been like the most like consistent, like always. Like people are always like asking for tamales or queso fresco, or sometimes even like the bolillos, which is like the rolls, like the bread rolls. Those are also like really like popular too.
Does your family have any practices within the business that kind of make the business like flourish, keep it going? Like, do you guys like, I don't know, like I know other companies might like treat their like workers out like for a meal or spend time together, things like that. Like, do you have any community events like that or things with just like your workers?
We used to. Like when we first opened it, we'd always have like a Christmas posada, which is like a party. You know, so we would do that every year, and then it just kind of like, I think everyone was so busy because everyone just started having their own families and you know, moving out of the area, like so it just kind of like fell off. But so like we don't really do it anymore, but we used to do it. I just I think in general it's just like just keeping like a mellow casual vibe where like the employees, they all know each other. They've known each other for so long. Like a lot of them, that's just like they just joke around. And, like you'll hear the butcher screaming to the cashier like some joke or something. So I think that kind of keeps them happy. And then, you know, they get like holiday bonuses and stuff like every year, and you know, paid vacation. So I think my dad just wants to keep them happy. And my dad's not much of like a social like guy, so he's not like, let's throw a party. Like that was always my mom. But yeah, I think, you know, just kind of keeping them happy kind of keeps the environment like, all right, everything's chill, smooth. Yeah.
Nice.
And I wanted to ask, through your time working in the business, what is a specific piece of advice that you would give to young entrepreneurs who'd like to start a business?
I asked my dad this because, you know, he's the one that started it, and he said, because he didn't have a chance to study, he said study. He's like, study and grind. He's like, just give it 110. Like on days you don't feel like it, like you have to do it. So yeah, I mean, I can see that because like the store is proof of like his effort and like the sacrifices that my mom and dad made to build something like a foundation, and like now it's there. So yeah, but he says definitely if you have the chance to like study and like, you know, get a higher education, take advantage of that. And you know, but I mean, other than the knowledge that you'll get from that, you need the work ethic. So really, like, you bust your butt, you know, like to really get what you want, and you'll do it if you put the work in. So he said that he was always like a hustler. When he moved from Mexico to LA, he would sell bags of oranges by the freeway. And then after that, when he moved up here, he was working at like another grocery store downtown in the Mission. And he would basically do like wholesale. So he would drive to LA and he would take me and my mom sometimes and buy like just boxes of like lemons and oranges and come back and sell them to other Latin markets in the city. And he just has always been like, he's always had that mentality of like working for himself and like, you know, just like always like selling stuff. So that's just kind of like his mentality. It's just like entrepreneurish, I guess. He said he's like, I've always been someone that's like, all right, well, I'm gonna sell this. I'm gonna get out and do this. Being
of service to others.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, I think that is it. Thank you so much for joining us and having this conversation. We really appreciate it. And yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we very much appreciate you. And the whole point of this podcast is to connect the community of San Bruno to local businesses like La Mexicana. And we just really want to strengthen our community because after COVID, you know, the social aspect of our city and everywhere around the world kind of dipped. And I feel like just getting to know the owners and the backstory of local businesses can really help us get back to those levels of community. So I really wanted to thank you again, and it was awesome having you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you guys for having me, and this is great what you guys are doing, and you know, keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.